Go for it.
It's very important.
So this was about Yosef standing up for his father, and
No, it's about the explanation of why he said what he said. The pasuk says that I will sustain you, right? Lest you become destitute, right? So why? So it means that if I'm automatically, I will sustain you, because if I don't sustain you, you're for sure going to become destitute. That's what it is. You don't tell somebody do this if it's not related to the next part of the sentence. Right? So we have a Gemara in Kiddushin. We brought the mahloket. Is the son obligated to sustain the father from the father's funds or from the son's funds? Meaning, if your father tells you, go buy me something, do I have to buy from my money or from his money? Right? And we say, the Hachamim hold like Rabbi Yirmiyah that says it's got to come from the father. Then the Tosfos, remember, so if your father tells you, go buy me something, they say, okay, give me the credit, give me a credit card. And that's the halakha. Now, Tosfot says, if the father doesn't have, then the obligation goes on the son.
But not as kibud avayim.
But it's not categorized as kibud avayim. It's categorized as staka.
It's a borderline, because staka starts with family first.
Right, and that's what we brought in the Gemara. We brought the halakha, right? Staka yoreh de'ah reshun aleph. Right, that says what? That we gave the breakdown. Right, we said first your parents first, then your children, which is a crazy thing, but that's what it is. Your parents first, then your children, then your brothers, then your cousins, right? Then extended family, then your neighbors, then your city, and then the people of other cities. And also, we said that if someone's, God forbid, captive, you have an obligation to save your captive first. Right, and then we also say that we asked, how is it possible people could give to Israel all day long? Because Shulchan Aruch says that Yoshvei Eretz Israel.
I still think my question is better than the answer.
The question is better than the answer.
Meaning that Jews in New Jersey and New York have spent a lot of money to send things right now to the soldiers, and good, like all to the good. The question is how much. At what time they have?
So we said the inhabitants of Eretz Yisrael. If you send money to Israel, it says comes first before the inhabitants of your area, which means your father comes first before Israel. Your father and your children come first, right? And your brother. So that means family comes before Israel. But then after your family, Israel's first, not your neighbors, not your neighbors,
not the Syrian Jews in deal.
Really now? We're going there? Is that what we're doing? What do you mean? The Syrian Jew, what do we give? What are you talking about? We give.
No, I know. I'm saying, like, the people in
You better kosher this real fast.
The teenage Jews, right?
Doesn't matter, yeah.
But the point is that, like, the people who you live with, you're not obligated to your community. First, you're obligated to your family, to your siblings, to your
yes.
And then immediately to the war, theoretically, and then you can start giving to the shul or other.
Well, no. So Shulchan Aruch saying, so it answers the people that So Yoshvei Eretz Yisrael kodmin leYoshvei Chutz La'aretz. Okay, because look, the people that don't live here, okay, it's still their home. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Just because you don't pay. We're making the seats warm for them till they get here, but it's still their home. So they have to take care of home when the son goes out. Right. You have all these people that the children go out. Right. They all send money home. So they got to send money home too. So they got to take it. Okay, fine. So what is Yosef telling Yaakov? He's saying, I want to respect you with Avayim. I didn't do it for 20 years. I want to do it. Right? But the halakha says, in order to do that, I need to sustain from you. However, we can't do that, because if you do that, you're going to run dry. Because the famine is going to be for another 5 years. Right? That's what we said. So therefore, I have no choice. So that's the first answer. We gave another second answer that says the pasuk has to say, lest you become destitute. Why? Because if you don't say that, what is Yosef informing Yaakov that he's going to sustain him? It's like an insult. Because what it says in the Gemara Betzah, someone that relies on his friend's table, it's like the world is dark for him. Because he's
at that point he's mixing the two, and he's saying that there's an element of you're not destitute yet, you're going to be destitute. So combined with what you have currently, with what I'm going to provide for the future.
So we didn't get right. So that was the answer. The answer is Panti Varish is telling you what? That you shouldn't have to rely on your because I know you have to sustain yourself now. So I want to just supplement.
Right.
So let's say you have 80%.
And then it's kibbud avayim. Then it's still kibbud avayim because the father's not destitute, and it's an era of everyone being destitute.
Right.
So you kind of reconfigure.
Very good. I like that.
means.
That's true. That's true. So now he's able to be to do two.
Right.
By the way, honor your father and keep your father's honor.
Right.
It's a big deal.
Right.
Right. In order for him so not to be
That's
reliant on the
That's
shulchan.
like the best way to do stuck eyes.
Yeah, not knowing who, and not knowing where it's coming from. Best. I do that.
I'm restoring your honor.
No, I do. Yeah, restore. Right.
Like
Teach a man how to fish.
Like giving a person a job instead of money.
Right. So I do that. I get people to give me 12 post-dated checks.
Right.
Okay. I haven't done it since the war, but 12 post-dated checks, and I give it to people with blank.
Right.
Whatever number you want, give it to me blank, and I give it to Avrechim. Right. And they don't know who it's coming from. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. I'm the guy in the middle, and everybody gets what they get, and nobody knows nothing, and they give you this stage. It's a beautiful thing. So give me your checks. Okay, so look, so that's the second, and now the third answer we're going to give. Why did Yosef have to say, "I'll sustain you in order for you not to become destitute"? That over here it's okay, because the concept of being reliant on someone's table, and your life is dark, doesn't apply here because of the Rav. Like we said, by COVID and furlough, right? You feel embarrassed to tell, furlough, I can't pay. You gotta wait. But in the old days, you feel bad. Right. You gotta pay what you owe, right? So since it's the years of the famine, we said that it's on everybody, and it's a mitzvah. Even it's a mitzvah to be with the people. Right. Remember, we said it's a mitzvah to be with the people, right? And that's the reason why it says because there's another 5 years of the famine. So these 5 years, everybody's going to be in a dark thing. So even if I sustain you, it's okay because you're with the people, we're all having the side, and it's a very, very thing. Now we bring a side note about we maneuvered in from saying that if you rely on someone, you're as if your world is dark. There's a Gemara Pesachim. We said Kof Yod Gimel Amud Bet. There's a Braita that says 3 people's lives are not real. Not a real life. Well, the one that's overly compassionate.
And you were talking about the darkness that settles in over a person who's destitute.
Yeah,
because that's the tivares.
Right, exactly.
That's what the whole thing's about.
But pantivat, because look, it's a lose-lose. Because if I rely on him, then I'll sustain myself. But my life's not. I'm not a man because I'm not my own. That's why, by the way, people say it's an unbelievable thing. Why can't you just give me my olam haba now? Why do I have to earn it? Why do we have to go through all this? And why? The olam hazeh, olam haba. This is the prosdod, right? We're going through here into olam haba, and we're going to get sakkal. Why do I have to go through it? Just give it to me. Right. Because you want to earn it.
Right.
You want to earn it. In Olam Haba, it's like a ball. Right. Everyone's wearing the most beautiful things, and every sin that we did at Mechaped, you're gonna have a stain. And haram, we don't want that on us. Right. The light that's gonna shine from you that you did Kibud Avayim, the light that's gonna shine from you that you did, and now you're gonna be able to. Well, I did that. I was in the trenches. I was in the nastiness of Olam Hazeh, of the old world, right? And everything was dark, and I knew that God was God, and I owned it, and I doubled down, and I lived my life that way.
Right.
That's the big deal.
Right.
That's you want that.
Right.
That's why Moshe wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael, because he wanted his own zechut. He got the zechut of everybody learning, great, but that's not mine. I want my own. My whole life I gave to the people. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. So now the person that's overly compassionate, the person that's overly angry, and a person that's extremely particular, right? Which is extremely particular. And the Tosfot said, right, that what are you talking about? Why bring that? What about the Gemara and Betzah? That says 3 things that a person's life is not a real life. One that's reliant on his friend's table. The second one is what? His wife controls him.
And one of them is that his body is basically, he can't control his body.
He's always on Yisurin. He's always getting affliction after affliction.
And then basically he says that there are 3 connected. Each one of them connects to each other.
No, but he asked the question. What's the question he asked? Why does the Braito don't talk to each other? They don't share.
I'm saying I've got to the next step.
But say the question. But you have to say the question.
You already just asked the question.
No, V'amai. You have to read the Amai. Why do they not list each other? Betzah doesn't list Pesachim. Pesachim doesn't list Betzah.
Right, and the answer is they basically say that it seems like one is talking about
the character traits of a person, but it seems like Zera Shimshon doesn't like that.
Right, it says very dachuk, and then he says, then he basically says is that each one of them connects to each other, meaning that they're not saying 2 separate things; they're actually saying they're identical things, and one is.
Right. So let's. So how does each one connect to the other one? So the first one we said the guy that's overly compassionate. We know what the Rambam says that if you're extreme and you want to get to the middle of the road, you need to become extreme on the other side. Right. But the Zera Shimshon has explained for these 3 things it doesn't work. Right. Because you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Well, first of all, if you're overly compassionate, what's the answer? You got to be overly mean. No, if you're overly
I
compassionate.
think he's saying it does work. I think he's saying it
No,
does work.
because when you're overly compassionate,
Yeah.
right? What's going to happen? They're going to see. The Shemaim's going to see that you're not being nice to anybody because you're trying to work on your trait of being too nice.
And then what happens? You get Yisurin.
And you get Yisurin.
So you're not going to fix yourself?
So no, the answer of going to one extreme to another doesn't work for these three specific things. That's what he's saying. When a person's overly nice, now I'm going to come overly angry, mean. Then now Shemaim's going to be like, you're not being nice to anybody ever. Because you want to work on your midah, but you're railroading over everybody else. So therefore, you get Yisurim, like we said, like we brought Rebbe in the Gemara Baba Metzia. Then a person that's overly angry, right? His life is also not. Why? Because if he's not makpid at all, then it's going to be like the second thing in Betzah, where his wife rules him, because people are going to lie, people are going to say what they want to him, and he's going to trample over him, and there has to be some sort of backbone in the house, something. So if he's going to have nothing, because remember, extreme to extreme, I'm overly angry. So I'm going to be overly nice and I'm going to let everybody do what they want. I'm not going to let anything bother me. If I don't let anything bother me, then it's going to be like the wife rules the house because she's going to do what she wants. And look, everyone has something to contribute. That's why it's called together, a marriage. The Gemara says, right? There's a Gemara that says that if your wife is short, you should bend over and listen to her. But there's another Gemara, there's another Braita that says, don't listen to your wife. So what's the answer? You don't like that one? So I'll tell you. So because with inyanim of olam hazeh, your wife has an intuition. She knows. So whatever she says, even if she's short, bend over because you want to hear what she has to say. Because when she says, I don't have a bad feeling about this guy, she's always right. Unfortunately, but right, I hate that. Whenever I say, okay, I want to do something with this guy, she goes, oh, I don't like that guy. I'm like, come on, the whole thing I'm working on. But when don't I listen to her? When it's inyanim of olam haba. Because she always needs help with the kids and dinner time and this and pick this up. But you have an obligation to learn. You have an obligation to go to shul. So those things you can't listen. But things that olam hazeh, that's what you listen because they have that thing. So if a person's not makpid on anything, the wife railroads him. With the last one, overly particular. Now that's a big one because if a person's overly particular, what's the one left in Betzah? Is that he's going to rely on his friend's table. Why would he rely on his friend's table if he's overly particular? That means you have to be un-overly particular. So which means what? That you have to leave the dishes in the thing for a month. Yeah, your house is becoming nasty now because you're not. I need to survive in this type of environment. I have no choice. But we say in the Gemara in Shabbat, right, that three things bring a person to aniyut. One of them is going to the bathroom in front of your bed. And as she explains why is that a thing? Why does that lead to poverty? Because it says in the Gemara in Pesachim that the ministering angel of Aniyut, the one that's in charge of poorness, his name is Naval. And Mordechai pointed out like Nevela. It's very good, right? Carcass, repulsive. And he loves to hang out in places that are mi'us, that are nasty. So now if your guy pees by his bed, now all of a sudden it's a perfect spot for the guy. So he's going to come and hang out, and then you're going to have this thing, and that's why it's very bad. So you see that these three things in one braita and three things in the other braita all the same. They're all the same.
They're extreme versions of each other.
They're extreme versions of each other, and he's saying that in order it's coming to teach you. It's coming to teach you that if you want to go from one extreme to another, you can't do it with these three things, and you have to work on being in the middle, and only these three things, right? And for the reasons that we wrote above. So you understand. So there's a time and a place for everything, like my father says. There's a time and a place for everything, and when you're overly nice, then you cannot just be overly mean. Now we said also, what are the other two things that lead to aniyut? We said that if a guy's mezazel in netilat yadayim. And two is if the wife screams or really curses. It doesn't say screams. Does not say scream. It says curses. If the wife...
I wonder whether cursing means like also degrading. I mean, cursing could be one thing.
Look, the word mekalelo befanav. He's cursed by one's wife in his own presence. So that's pretty heavy. Right? So inshallah we should all have, right? We should fulfill what the Zera Shimshon should fulfill. When he says Hatama ve'enechem tirena banim bnei banim keshitei zetim saviv leshulchanchem, surrounded by your table. Hachamim u'venebonim. Remember last week's parasha we said what's a navon? Someone that he's born with it. He's born with it. Very good. Batim meleim kotov. Your houses, both of your houses should be filled with good. Gam osher, gam riches, gam kavod, honor. Lo yosifu mizarachem. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.